Let's talk about procedure and working papers, because once you define your engagement related issues, the next step is to go for procedures and preparation of the working papers, right? In that we will discuss what are the engagement procedure, what are different types, and how to select these engagement procedures, what working paper we need, purpose and basic contents. Working paper is required for applying our judgment, because few things depend upon an auditor judgment. First of all, you go to a client side, you see how strong he is, how efficient they are, what is their qualification, how much they have the knowledge. If you believe everything is fine, then your analytical procedure risk assessment will be very less. You will reduce the sample size. But if it is opposite, then you will go for detailed testing, all that. So you have to apply judgment for preparing your working paper. You have to review as a supervisor, someone has to review, someone has to control the flow of the working paper, and as an auditor, what is your legal right to retain the working paper with you, what paper are the client paper, what papers are your papers. This is we should be discussing. So he says, when gathering information, there are three audit procedures. First of all, you observe the condition, observation. For example, why auditor go for a stock take, inventory count, it sees observing. Interviewing people is, ask the people about different procedure, policies, you will have an impression. Then examining the records, you see the voucher, you have a quotation, confirmation, you have delivery, you have the client acknowledgement for receiving the goods, and then you have you send a sale invoice, against that how much money has received. So you should have a documentation evidences. We can tracing is the process of following a transaction from a trigger event to a resulting event. So we try to trace out the stuff. While vouching is the process of analyzing the result backward to the trigger event, ensuring that a recorded amount is properly supported. Vouchering is when we enter something in the system, we print out, we voucher it and file it. It's showing the past trends. And tracing is showing the current and future trend. Re-performance sometimes is very effective. You can do the re-performance and see the effect of any transaction. Where it is going, like maybe you are entering some transactions which is going in the wrong account. So when you perform and see the effect, you will come to know about the errors. And this it can re-performance. Re-performance means suppose a sale accountant is entering the sale invoices, you understand the flow, then you re-perform by yourself. Right? The same process which is done already, you do it by yourself. So it consists of duplicating the client work and comparing the results. Function of the working paper. First of all, working paper. What are the working paper? These are the blood of an auditor. He is going to have papers for their workings. So it should be comprehensive. It should be, more professional way, so anyone can understand. It shows his competency, and it shows the others the required information which he wants to translate to the management. So it should aid in planning, performance, provide principal support, document whether engagement objectives are achieved, see the accuracy, completeness of the performance, provide a basis for IIA quality assurance program, and facilitate third-party reviews. Best practices: each working paper must describe the content or the purpose of working paper in the headings. So when you see a paper, you know this is a working paper, this is table A, this is table B, this is for working paper for accruals, for payment, prepayments, for fixed assets. And you should see working paper should be consistent and efficiently prepared to facilitate reviews. They should be neat, not crowded, and written on only one side if written at all. Uniform in size and appearance, economical, avoiding unnecessary copying, listing or sketching. Sometime you might observe auditor comes and if he find any problem into, you will say, okay, give me a copy of all this bunch. But you have to see this bunch is really required, a cost-benefit analysis is always the main consideration for internal auditing. So this is Unit 3, Internal Audit Ethics. We'll discuss the Code of Ethical Conduct for Professionals. Internal Audit Ethics, Introduction and Principles. Then one by one we'll discuss integrity, objectivity, confidentiality and competency. First of all, we should know what is code and what is conduct and why code of conduct is important. Code are required because this is generalized for everyone. We work in multinational organizations and multicultural environment where we have Americans, Germans, Russians, Arabs, non-Arabs. They are having different culture, they have different conducts, they have different code of ethics. So we cannot rely as an organization on their personal preferences and personal code of ethics. That's why we have to make one general code of ethics, even you are which nationality, which color you belong to. This is a standard procedure. This is the general code that you are expected to follow. That's why every organization should have a code of ethics, code of conduct. The conduct is the expected behavior and that you are expecting from your employees. In terms of integrity, it should be a core value of your characteristics, that no one can give you money and get the opinion of your own favor because you are an internal auditor and you are going to audit. And if you don't have integrity, means whenever you catch something, you can take money and you can remove the objections. So as a core role, you should have integrity. In terms of objectivity, there are two words. One is subjectivity, the other is objectivity. Subjectivity means that when I say this will happen and this happening is extracted by my feelings, this is subjective. So we cannot say your accounts is bad based on my feelings. This is subjective. Objectivity is opposite. When I say something, I have sufficient reliable evidence for it. My opinion is based on facts and figures. This is objectivity. Confidentiality is because we are an internal auditor and we have access to the records. So we have to maintain the confidentiality of the organization, the records and information. In order to make ourselves more competent, we should have skills, knowledge and experience to do the assignments. Let's talk about the reasons for code of ethical conduct. The primary reason is to have a standardization, a standard that promote ethical culture among professionals who serves others. Means you tell them, look, this is ethical, this is unethical, this is we should do, this is we should not do. Additional functions of a code of ethical conduct includes communicating acceptable values to all members, then establishing objective standards against which individuals can measure their own performances, and we have to communicate to the organizational values to the outsiders. Three additional things. First of all, how we'll communicate with each other, then with the members, with everyone in the organization. Then what are the standards against this individuals will be, you can say, evaluated, and communication within the outside to the outside world, right? Sometimes when you have letters, when you write something, it depicts a good picture over the others outside the organization. They feel that you have a sense of achieving, your sense of communicating, and your communication skills are backed by courteous words. So it creates a good impression, and people take good impression about the organization in general. Let's talk about aspects of code of conduct. This is, as I told you, integrity, a refusal to compromise professional values for the personal gains. Means when it comes to your personal gains, you don't care for it. You go for what is required, what should be, what is the right way you have to go, no matter what sacrifices it requires from you. Objectivity is the commitment to provide stakeholders with unbiased information. Confidentiality is a refusal to use organization information for private gains. For example, you are auditing something and you find some information about CEO, and now you are approaching CEO that I have this information. If I tell to board of directors, it will be a very great trouble for you. Give me money, all that. So don't use the confidential information for your personal gains. Competency, as we already discussed, that it's a commitment to work, that you have necessary skills and required knowledge for doing that particular work. Now, the definition of internal auditing, we have already studied that internal auditing is an independent audit, objective assurance and consulting services that add value into day-to-day operations. There's a systematic approach which brings effective risk management, control and governance.